Welcome to the An Post Irish Book Awards InstaStory Club in partnership with Image. I'm joined today by Andrea Corr, who's here to tell us about her beautiful new memoir, Barefoot Pilgrimage. Hi Andrea,
Hi.
how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
In our beautiful living room.
Yeah, cozy.
Okay, so the book is gorgeous and I absolutely devoured it virtually in one sitting.
Oh, thank you.
And it is really unusual. I mean, it's not in no way a celeb memoir, but what I suppose I was very interested, did HarperCollins come to you and say, would you tell your story? Was it stories that you were already thinking about and writing down, or how did the book come together?
Well, it came from, I mean, I didn't intend to write a book. What led to me doing it was about a year on from Dad's death and 18 years from Mum's. I obviously felt kind of profoundly sad, but I also looking back on the whole thing felt, you know, that the story was remarkable, and that you get really aware of your own mortality when your parents die, and I wanted to make sure it was written down before I go. And the my grandfather wrote his memoir and Daddy wrote his, so I thought this is kind of an interesting generation. Yeah.
Did you kind of let slip to a publisher and they were like, oh, fabulous, jumped on the idea?
No, it wasn't like that at all. Once I started, I was kind of haunted by the images from the past, and it did obsess me in a way. And I'd write every day, but again, it was about recording it and putting it down. But also, our manager, who's been with us since I was 15, John Hughes, I felt I wanted to go home after this holiday and give it to him and go, I've written this down. Now, he obviously never knew I was doing anything like this, or after the summer break. And so I did. I handed him then what was a manuscript, and really I'm being generous if I call it a novella, because it really was short, like myself. But then so I handed it to him when we'd finished lunch one day, and he said, oh, what's this? And then he rang me later, and then he went into a bookshop and went, where do I go with this? And then that went to HarperCollins. So it's kind of a different way around, yeah.
And the writing in the book is very beautiful. It's evocative and lyrical, which is no surprise. You are a lyricist. How did you find writing this work compared with, say, writing one of your songs or your poetry?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot longer. To be honest, it's more luxurious than a song, because you get to fall into the well of what you're talking about. Whereas a song, you really are editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're editing the thoughts. You're editing, the emotion into something that's a lot less than 5 minutes these days.
Yeah.
So I found it. I found it very liberating to have time.
And did you think a lot about, I'm revealing myself here? How do I feel about this?
No, I didn't really, because you know what, to be honest, that is something that I found really liberating in the thing. Now when I do an interview, I can't be misrepresented. Whereas all of the career in the Corrs, we could be misrepresented, right? Very easily. So I feel confident at this point and secure with my past, and I'm not as I say in it, it is what it is, and that is okay. That's important to go, look, we're human and fallible, and nobody is perfect.
You mentioned in Barefoot Pilgrimage that kind of early drafts didn't contain Jean, your mother, as much.
Yeah.
And that when you went back over and kind of sought her out, she emerged, a portrait of her emerged. How did you find revisiting her? Because you lost her when you were very young and very suddenly.
Yeah.
Was that a healing process or cathartic in any way?
Well, I think it turned out to be so. I mean, I definitely felt a lot better having written the book than I did before it, because that was close after Daddy's. But the beautiful thing, or not the sadness, was who she was. I did forget what it was like to be in a room with her. Her presence, her just the feel of her, the sound of her, the echo of her voice downstairs when I'm upstairs. Her person. And as I say, to blissfully take her for granted. Because that's what we do with mums, and I hope mine just blissfully take me for granted too, because that's how it should be.
Yeah, that's the luxury.
That's the beautiful thing. So that then I felt what it was like to be with her again in writing it. And it was very funny a lot of the time.
The kind of structure of Barefoot Pilgrimage is like a performance, in that there's 3 acts and an intermission and everything. Yeah. Did you decide very consciously that you wanted to do it that way?
No, it became that. I just didn't know how I would get through those 10 years that we didn't do anything we wanted to talk about other than the babies. So I just kind of went, I do picture things like in a theatrical way.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is quite theatrical at times, but that was it. It's the intermission. That's it. And that I suppose, like, it led me into, you know, an empty stage and the flight cases, which is the truth of these costumes and flight cases, and you know, and the instruments. But it wasn't conscious. You know, I actually, in fact, there is only Act 2. There isn't Act 1. There's no Act 3. So you can see it's flawed even.
Well, I was about to ask about Act 3. I presume it's the next book.
I don't know, yeah. No, I think it's going to be very boring from now on. I have nothing to say.
We've packed in so much. Like, do you have a kind of thought in your head about what you want to spend the next phase doing, or would you like to write another book?
I mean, I did love it. I don't know. To be honest, I feel really lucky that I have gotten to fulfill and experience so much, and of like creativity, and I feel I didn't intend to do many things, and yet I've done them and they've happened. So I nearly don't want to jinx that and decide to do something.
Thanks for joining us this week for the An Post Irish Book Awards InstaStory Club in partnership with Image.